you cry no more.
Welcome to another episode of Action Video Game Talk. I'm your host, Scott Action Jackson. Thanks for joining me today, or tonight, or whenever you're watching or listening to this video. I do have a new list of news articles to go through, so let's hop right into it. Yacht Club Games, developer of the critically acclaimed retro platformer Shovel Knight, is releasing an Amiibo figure developed to its protagonist. The Shovel Knight Amiibo is compatible with both the Wii U and 3DS versions of Shovel Knight. When used with the Wii U version, the Shovel Knight Amiibo unlocks an exclusive co-op mode, which allows two players to play cooperatively through the entire game. Those who manage to get their hands on the Shovel Knight Amiibo will also be able to customize their character in-game for both the Wii U and 3DS versions, and then transport that character to other copies of the game using the Amiibo's read-write functionality. There will also be a new challenge mode appearing on the Wii U and 3DS versions. The Shovel Knight Amiibo will be produced and sold by Yacht Club Games, meaning that it's the first Amiibo from an independent developer and publisher, but also the first third-party Amiibo overall. Despite this, the product is licensed by Nintendo, so the packaging will be consistent with the other Amiibo figures. The Amiibo will also be compatible with upcoming 3DS Amiibo Portal, which is set to release later this year. The Shovel Knight Amiibo will release this holiday season and will be available in limited quantities. Though the game is receiving a physical retail release this October, the Amiibo will not be included in any bundles with the game. To me, this was a bit surprising. I mean, considering the fact that the character itself is going to be, developed and published by a third-party company, an independent developer and publisher is making this Amiibo for Nintendo versions of the Shovel Knight game. This isn't interesting because, yeah, the game itself is critically acclaimed, and I don't know why, but I guess enough people were asking Nintendo for it, and I guess they were probably asking this Yacht Club Games company to actually make one to be compatible with the Wii U and 3DS. I also read that somewhere I read, once I can get my words right, somewhere I read that Nintendo is interested in more third-party Amiibo figures. Now, if this is the case, we could get some made by Namco Bandai, and that could get into one character that a lot of people want to see but probably won't, and that would be a Goku character. But then again, they'd probably have to go through like Nintendo or something if they want to try and include Goku into a Smash Brothers game. This is something I brought up before in previous Smash Brothers Amiibo news article videos. But if they are going to do more third-party ones, they could try doing it with more Wii U 3DS game releases as well. I mean, I think... Okay, scratch that. I was thinking. And I lost. As I stated, this is interesting. It can open up the possibility of more third-party Amiibo figures. It could. It just depends on what Nintendo agrees with. Fans of Gearbox's maniac, gun-obsessed world have a new project to look forward to. Variety reports that Lionsgate has acquired the rights to Borderlands and is working on a film with father-son producing combo Avi and Arad. The duo has extensive experience working on comic book movies, including Iron Man, Spider-Man, and X-Men. Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick says the partnership is ideally positioned to create a bold, provocative, no-holds-barred motion picture phenomenon that will delight Borderlands' current legions of fans and captivate moviegoers around the world. No other information or timeline has been given. Yes, I know, I probably butchered the names of the father-son producing duo, Avi and Ari Arad. Sorry if I got that mixed up or messed up. Yeah. Aside from that, I'm not too sure how I feel about this. From what I've heard, a lot of people who watched Mad Max, the new Mad Max movie, in the movie theaters, said that they felt like they wanted to go and play the Borderlands games because of it. Now, for some odd reason, I guess Lionsgate wanted to get the rights and got them for the Borderlands movie, which most video game movies up to this point, including the recent Agent 47 Hitman movie, have been crap. I think the only ones that aren't total crap are probably the first Mortal Kombat movie, and the first Resident Evil movie is loosely based on the game, and the rest of the Resident Evil movies have been more or less action movies, loosely based on the Resident Evil franchise. Now, like I said, I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, Lionsgate kind of has their hands full already. I mean, they're mostly known for the Twilight series, and they're going to be starting this Power Rangers movie, which hopefully will be a movie series, depending on how it gets received by the fans and stuff. So this, like I keep saying, I just don't know how I feel about this. Not every video game can be successfully made into a movie format. A few can, just not all of them. I mean, I know a while back, speaking of shooters, which Borderlands is kind of a shooter, people were wondering, and some were trying to tinker around with a Halo movie, and it could have been interesting if they actually went through with it, but I guess it got canned. But with Borderlands, it might be too over the top to be in a movie. I mean, would I go see it if they do make a movie of it? At some point, I would. Just to see, probably to see, one, how much they butchered it, and two, how close to the actual video game story they kept with. The frequent delayed Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 version of Mortal Kombat X has officially been cancelled by Warner Bros. Interactive. In an update on Warner Bros. Interactive's message boards, it was announced that the game simply couldn't meet the visual standards set by the new-gen versions, and pre-order customers are getting encouraged to seek out refunds from the retailer where they reserved their copy. This is the full statement. After months of development, Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment has come to the regrettable conclusion that we cannot release Mortal Kombat X for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Please know our teams worked diligently to meet the quality standards set by the current gen versions of the game. We were not able to get the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 versions to be the quality expected of a Mortal Kombat game, and are very sorry for not being able to deliver the products as originally planned. If you pre-ordered Mortal Kombat X for PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, please go to the retail location where you pre-ordered the game and you will receive a full refund. The last-gen versions of Mortal Kombat X were delayed back in March to an unspecified summer time frame. For a long while, when they started doing the whole pushing back of the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 version of Mortal Kombat X, they kept pushing it back pushing it back, and it's like, at this point, it was a given. It was gonna be canceled. We knew it. It was a matter of time before Warner Brothers Interactive officially announced it. I mean, a lot of people saw this coming. I mean, where I work, some of us that work there were just knew that it was going to get canceled because of how much it was pushed back and delayed. I mean, even some of the customers that showed up to cancel their reserve and put it onto another game knew that it was probably going to be canceled because of how far it got pushed back. I mean, this was a given. It was just a waiting period until Warner Brothers Interactive finally announced the canceling of the game. Of course, it is a shame because a lot of people thought with the possibility of it being released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, it could have somehow been compatible with the Freddy Krueger actual fighter from the Mortal Kombat reboot game to be brought over to maybe have a face-off between Freddy versus Jason in the Mortal Kombat X game, which that right there would have been awesome and would have been worth the wait to try and do. But I guess we'll never see that in the video game unless they try to, I don't know, maybe they can try and do something with the next Mortal Kombat game if we're lucky, but who knows. By the time the next Mortal Kombat game comes out, maybe we'll have Ash from Evil Dead in instead. At a panel at PAX Prime 2015, Square Enix announced that the long-awaited Final Fantasy XV will be released in 2016. Square elaborated on this release window by stating that the actual release date in 2016 will be unveiled at a special event in March 2016. It's time to start guessing when we'll actually be able to take our jazzed-up car for a road trip, Final Fantasy style. This is another case where a lot of people were expecting this to happen, since a lot of people were doubtful that Final Fantasy XV would be coming out this year in 2015. They assumed it might be coming out next year for 2016, just like they could possibly do with Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, also recently, I forgot if it was just Square Enix or maybe some representative from Square Enix said that Final Fantasy XV will be doing a worldwide release. So, once they actually announce the date that it's coming out, it'll be coming out worldwide on that date. Which also leads into the possibility, if Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out the same date, we could have two epic Square Enix games coming out on the same date. That right there is definitely an epic, awesome moment if that happens. If. That does it for this episode of Action Video Game Talk. Once again, thanks for joining me today, or tonight, or whenever you're watching or listening to this video. Later on, I will have the separate clips up if you want to check those out. Down below, I will have a link to the Facebook page and right to the Fandom Night stuff if you want to check that out as well. So, until next time, bye!